Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, 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 ba-da-da-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, ba-ba-dum. Bum 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 ba dun 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 da 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 dun dun dum ba dun da dun dun ba dun 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 da da dun dun da dun da da dun da 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 dun dun da dun da 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 dun 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 da dun dun. Da dun da da dun ba dun 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 dun. Hello, my friends. Good evening, Facebook Live friends and my mighties. So wonderful to see you. I love the way you come on early. You could here you are already. You're ready to go. Maggie from New Hampshire, and who else do we have? Let's see, Sandra from Houston, and hi, Colleen in Missouri and West Bend, Wisconsin. Happy Music, Michigan. Lonnie Krogan or Lori Kroger. Hi, Wendy from North Carolina, from Charlotte. And those are my mighties. Let us say hello to our Facebook Live people. Thank you for all of what you do to everyone. It's so good. Yes. Well, we're all here together, friends. Uh, Hi from Ajax, Ontario. Nice to see you. Peg from Pennsylvania, Ottawa Valley, Ohio. Hi, Nancy. Hi. Hello from Sebastopol, California. So lovely to see everyone. All right. First, let me say that this is what we do every Monday night, isn't it? At 8 o'clock. If you don't know me, my name is Joette Calabrese, and this is it. This is what we do. We hang out. We've been doing this for years now. And we do one thing and one thing only, and that is we discuss homeopathy. And I teach you things that I know, and I ask you to share what you know as well, because we have some very astute people in who are following me, which I'm very fortunate to have in my life. And for those of you who do know me, welcome, my friends. It's great to see you. So, hello from Tampa. Another one from Tampa. Hi, Rachna. From Winston-Salem comes Terry. It's so great. So wonderful to see everyone. So tonight we're going to talk about, um, Ohio. And I made it sound rather specific because I want people from Ohio, Pennsylvania, and surrounding areas to be thinking homeopathically. I don't want there to be fear. I want people to be smart. And I have to tell you 2 points I want to make tonight. I'm not a medical doctor. And I want to say that I think you know that already. I make it clear on my podcasts, on my my blog, on my site, that I am not a medical doctor. I don't have a degree from a medical organization or institution. What I am is a homeopathic teacher. I teach homeopathy. I teach folks how to use this medicine and how to think homeopathically. And thinking homeopathically is much different than thinking naturopathically or functional medicine and many other paradigms, because they're all different paradigms. It's not that they're wrong and we are right. It's just that homeopathy is just different. So I want to say that. And I also want to say that when we're faced with a crisis, the first thing we want to do is to react. And which is not a bad thing if you can react properly. Now, how do we know we're reacting properly, right? Because we're in a crisis, and it's very hard to think when you're in a crisis. But let me tell you that when I work with clients or my family and they present a problem to me, a condition, often I know exactly what to use. It's super easy. I know exactly how to teach them what to do. I know exactly how to go about explaining it to them, showing them, directing them, etc. But many times, at least once a day, um, I like to sleep on it. I find that my best thoughts come after thinking about the concern, thinking about the condition, and then approaching it the next day afresh. Sometimes it takes 2 nights, but more often than not, it's one night. So that's for a situation that are situations that are not usually surrounded by crises. It might be a terrible illness or a concern someone has, but it's not something that we have to move quickly along with. Now, when the virus came along 2.5 years ago, in the very beginning, um, I wanted to teach ideas of what to consider. And so that's what I'm going to do tonight. I'm not going to give you absolutes. I want to give you resources because we don't know quite yet. If there's a condition of hives, that's fairly easy. I teach that on my blog, Joette Calabrese hives, or maybe you look up Joette Calabrese urticaria, excuse me. If it's and I also wanted to mention that when we're using a homeopathic medicine for a condition of hives that may be as a result of vinyl chloride, we're still going to use the same medicine. So it's not that we're suppressing the symptoms or hiding the symptoms with the homeopathic medicines. Instead, what we're doing is using the symptoms to determine which medicine is best chosen for this problem that this person is having that may be related to that chemical or that bee sting or that contact dermatitis. It matters not. Now, I've been trying to keep up on what's going on in Palestine, but it's hard to keep up with it all. And from what I'm gathering, there's urticaria. There might be some breathing conditions, issues, etc. And that one of the main concerns is the long-term effects. However, we know that given that the chickens have died in one person's little farm and some other pets have died, if we knew what it was that they died, what the condition was it respiratory, was it diarrhea, etc., etc., we could be more specific. So what I'm going to teach you is how to use the repertory, but I'm also going to teach you one medicine that is so sweeping, so big, so useful in so many ways when it comes to susceptibilities and exposure to chemicals, that it could indeed, should someone decide to do this, be useful. I'm not going to talk about that remedy quite yet because I want to show it to you, okay? So if you don't have a homeopathic repertory, I've been showing this to you lately. This is written by Robin Murphy. It's called Meta Repertory. It's the 4th edition. The 3rd edition is also quite good if it's all you can get, or if you already have it. But the 4th edition is what I'm going to use tonight. And what this is a compendium of all of human suffering. It's on Bible paper because it needs to be very thin paper. There are 2,600 pages approximately. And there are no sentences. It's just a listing of conditions, listing of symptoms. and broken down into what we call rubrics, and then the medicines that are the most specific. Look at Tracy from Missouri, already knows. Look at, who is this? Sandra D. You got it. Rechna, you're way ahead of me. So I'm going to show you how I determine what might be a good medicine to consider, particularly if we have some of the symptoms. Even if we don't have some of the symptoms, I'm not going to direct you as to what you should do, my friends. Because again, I'm not a medical doctor. Instead, what I'm going to do is teach you how I look at it and how I've worked with these medicines. So the first place I'm going to look up in my repertory is under clinical. And under the clinical, I have my little tabs that I put in here. I look under ailments from chemicals. Now, I hope you can see this because it really is it really is quite interesting. I want you to look for the words, the homeopathic medicines that are in bold. Let's see, it's right here, and I'm going to show you this way. Chemicals, ailments from. Do you see that? I'll try to straighten this out a little bit. Okay. There's one medicine that is underlined in bold. There are many others. There's ammonium carbonicum, very good medicine to have on hand. I can't read them very well. Camphor, maybe, I think, is in there. Yes, camphor's in there. Causticum's in there, but I'm skipping the most important one, which is Ars, A-R-S, underlined and bold. Arsenicum, my friends. But also look down further. There's causticum, mercurius. Those are not underlined, but they're bold. Phosphorus. Very important medicines. Here's the thing. It's not just one chemical. It's many chemicals. And many times people suffer from chemical sensitivities or ailments from chemicals that's not even a sensitivity. They just get sick. They don't even know what it is. Lawn pesticides. For a long time, we didn't know what lawn pesticides, what they were using. Now we know it was 2,4,5-D, etc. But there was a time when we didn't know what was in the chemicals. We didn't know what the factories were spewing. We didn't know what was in the water in the little lake that the children were playing in, and then they responded. And so, ubiquitously, across the board, one of our finest medicines that cover as many toxic chemicals ever is Arsenicum album. This is the way we learn this stuff. We look under chemicals in the clinical section. Now, I'm also going to look under, because when there is a chemical exposure, and we know with vinyl chloride it affects the liver. I'm going to look under liver in this book, in my repertory, that I urge everyone to own, even if you're new to homeopathy, my friends. And it will look convoluted and confusing and too in-depth, but I promise you, if you stay at this, and if you take a couple courses on homeopathy, if you follow me here and there, you'll even be able to pick it up, especially if you just open this book and start poking around, especially in the clinical section. This book will help you. Okay. So now I'm going to look under the liver, and I'm going to look under, I don't want to lose my place, inflammation of the liver. Now, we don't know if the liver is inflamed, do we? We don't know. It's right there where my finger is. Now I have to be able to read it too. My gosh. Cardus marianus. Aconitum at the top. See the first one? Aconitum. Then we see arsenicum, not underlined, but bold, my friends. Cardus mar, C-A-R-D-M, Cardus mar. Chelidonium, C-H-E-L, you see that? Lycopodium. Nat sulf, C-N-A-T-S. and nux vomica. You see that? Now, is the liver inflamed? We don't know unless we have symptoms. But that is something to consider, because if we start seeing a person is starting to, or a dog or the chickens, start having liver conditions, you're going to look to inflammation of the liver or enlarged liver, derangement of the liver. Here we go again. I'm going to show you now. Derangement. What does derangement even mean? It's right there. Derangement of the liver. Cardus Marianus, you see that, my friends? Now, arsenicum's in there. It's further up. You see that further up? Arsenicum? But it's italicized and bold. That's all it is. It's not underlined in bold. But there's arsenicum again. So it's giving us ideas. Arsenicum, Cardus Marianus, chelidonium. These are all medicines that we want to consider. But when we see a medicine presenting in one rubric and then another rubric, so we see it under derangement or enlarged or inflamed liver, and we also see it under chemicals, ailments from chemicals. We see it over and over again. It doesn't mean it's an absolute. What it means is that it's a start. And it could take a problem from start to finish with just that medicine, but it may not. We can't be 100%. So when I teach you how to look for this, I want to teach you that it's important to don't hang on that one medicine, say, oh no, it didn't help enough or it didn't work, and say, well, I guess that's the end of that. No, because did you see all those other medicines in those rubrics? There are many to choose from. It's just that I'm making an argument to start, to commence thinking about arsenicum album. All right. Now, let me say that, again, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm reading some of your comments. And I'm a teacher. And I'm here to teach you because it is my duty that, since I know homeopathy and it has helped me and my clients and students through the years, that I tell the rest of the world. And so it's your obligation to do the same. So once you know that the medicine that is potentially valuable in a situation like this, and if they're only going to purchase one medicine, it's going to likely be arsenicum album. I want you to tell others. Now, this is not a supplement, as you well know. It's not a vitamin. It's a homeopathic medicine. And we have to have a number and a letter after it, don't we? So we have to choose what potency. Arsenicum 3, I just wrote about Arsenicum 3. Great for vomiting and stomach pain. Arsenicum album 3, excellent. I just wrote about it in my blog 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago. Arsenicum 6, Arsenicum 6 is more for the nose. Could be used, but 3 is often for the stomach. 6 is for the nose. You know how you remember? 3 looks like a profile of a woman with a breast and then a belly. So you think of belly. So 3. And 6 looks like the profile of a nose. 3 and 6, those are those uses. Does it mean they can't be used in other circumstances? Absolutely not. But those are the prominent areas. 30, Arsenicum 30 is a good medicine for diarrhea. It's a very good medicine for diarrhea. It can also be for vomiting. Other issues as well. 200. That's one of my favorite potencies when it comes to something that is a little more on the chronic side. It doesn't mean we don't use low potencies for chronics. Does not mean that. Not at all. But generally speaking, it's a very generalized way of saying it. 200C, 200X is a very good potency when we're using something for someone who is sick. or prophylactically for someone who might need it maybe once a week or something like that. Now, the reason I said a little while ago that I like to sleep on this, I like to know a little bit more before I commit to more information, is because I hate to say it, there hasn't been enough time. You would think this is enough time. It's been weeks. And I'm going to be honest with you, I have to be very careful on Facebook. I have to be very careful. So I'm not going to tell you what to use. I'm going to tell you that more often than not, a 200, or I'm going to back off a little bit. I'm going to say a 30 or a 200 is often a good potency for a chronic condition. I'm leaning a little more towards the 200C or 200X, but I think a 30C or 30X could also be of value. Now, here's the concern. Homeopathy is not, as I said, a supplement or a vitamin. It's medicine. And if we use it injudiciously, meaning if we use it frequently without reason, without a good rationale, it can cause approving. And approving means that the symptoms that Arsenicum album or Chelidonium or Cardus marianus or Nux vomica, whatever one we're choosing, if those symptoms are meant to be relieved by this medicine, they will actually be caused if someone takes the medicine when it's unnecessary. So it must be necessary to take this. And how do we know that it's necessary? Well, if there are symptoms. What are the symptoms of Arsenicum album? Well, one of the top symptoms is angst. Angst, fear of being poisoned. Fear of being poisoned. And another aspect, another keynote of Arsenicum is being poisoned. Another aspect is diarrhea. Another keynote is respiratory distress. Another aspect is skin conditions, itching, pustules, etc. You see where I'm going here? I am not telling you what you need to take. I'm telling you how to think through the use of these medicines. Yep. Time to stock up on Arsenicum album. Yes. Buy your Arsenicum album from Boron, from OHM Pharma, if you happen to be a student or client of mine, from Washington Homeopathics, from Hahnemann Pharmacy, from Helios in England, from Thompson's in Toronto. Own these medicines, my friends. Own these medicines. Now, here's the thing. People are asking me, what potency would you use for Cardus marianus? Well, it depends on what the condition is. I put together a course that you can still get a hold of. I would never have imagined this because, Buffalo is my hometown. My family is there. Buffalo's right there, 2.5 hours away from what happened. But even if it wasn't, we need to help our brothers and sisters in Ohio. And I'm going to tell you that it is important that we learn as much as we can. And so I would never have guessed when I put that course together called Toxic that this would be so close to my home. I have friends in Ohio. My dentist is in Ohio. So I do have a concern for these folks. Now, there are other medicines, and carbolic acid is another medicine that we always think of when there's anaphylaxis, when there's an overreaction to chemicals. That's a very good concern, a remedy to consider. And again, I love the 200 potency. All right, let me see what some of your questions are. Arsenicum album broke a pattern of chronic insomnia. That's yes. Weird thing is that I had reached for arnica, most 200, but didn't have my glasses on and took the wrong remedy and it worked. Once proved, does that go away? So you could use it later? Absolutely. Once you have a proving, it will go away. But it just confounds the picture. So I tried the Banerjee protocol of antimony improved with arsenicum album 200 for my elderly mother, who had developed terrible chronic itching skin with sores everywhere. Yes, good, great. Canada, we are too close for comfort. Also, you bet. You bet. Yep. It doesn't matter where we live. These things are happening. Okay. Let's say you're allergic. An example, had a chemical exposure in the lab she worked in. Can you share that info? Much appreciated. That was it was carbolic acid. Yeah, it had the with the lab leak. That wasn't a leak. It was a. We're so accustomed to saying that phrase. It was someone I knew years ago who worked in a lab and was exposed to something. I don't know what it was, and she used carbolic acid because she collapsed. Carbolic acid, extreme allergic reaction. Yep. Let's see what else we've got here. I live 50 miles away. My 3-month-old daughter developed a fever several days ago. The fever is down, but she's coughing and sneezing a lot. I developed a cough today in my throat. Okay, let me just tell, I think it's a good idea to leave, but I also have to tell you, just so you don't have too much fear, Ashley, fevers are going around. Exactly what your coughs, fevers, it's been going on for weeks. It's most of the calls I get these days are fevers, coughs, colds, throat, chest. It's been going on for weeks. So that's within the range of normal. Doesn't mean you don't leave. I would leave. I would leave. All right, let's see. Hey everyone, don't forget to like, comment, and share this video. You bet. Please, 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 please. Might there be cell salts with those combinations? The cell salts, I'm glad you brought that up because I was thinking of cell salt. Let's see if anyone knows this cell salt. A cell salt that's specific for the liver. Anybody have that information there? A cell salt for the liver, which could be very useful because the liver is the organ that cleans out the toxins, right? Let's see if our dog ate a whole bottle of gummy vitamins. And he collapsed. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh. It's just so funny because they're gummy. Gave him arsenicum album 200 and he soon threw up and got back on his feet. You bet. Yes. People are sending in good information here. What is the cell salt, right? What is the cell salt? You're all getting it. My mighties, Karen, Sandra, Tracy, Melinda. Oh, Melinda's got a little different, although Melinda, I don't think that's wrong. Melinda says Nat Muir. Everyone else is saying Nat Sulf. And Nat Sulf is more specific for the liver. Nat Sulf, Natrum sulfuricum 6X is the medicine. Now, if one can justify the use of Nat Sulf by looking up the medicine in the Materia Medica, which is what I would expect you to do for any of these medicines, right? You're not going to just take them. You're going to do your research. You're going to open up a Materia Medica and read up on it. And if you can find a justification for using Nat Sulf, I don't know, maybe some indigestion or something, then that's what I would use. And I love Nat Sulf in 3X and I like it in 6X. Let's see what everyone, oh, look at all of these. Thank you for, oh, you guys are great. Yes, my husband came back with diarrhea and I gave him arsenicum album 30C. It's really helping him. It's really helped him. So now, once we use the medicine, any of these medicines, and it helps, Now we keep an eye on it because there's a pattern that's developing in the person that is, or that may develop in the person. We want to watch for it. We want to look for even little indications, right? Why not sulfur? Sulfur is not a bad idea. Nat sulfur is pretty specific. Sulfur's good too. Yes, sulfur's good too. Once proved, does that go? Okay, I answered that. Thank you always. You're welcome. Lots of wind and storms. Be prepared. I know. Isn't that the truth? Forever as long as not tampered with or. Okay. I looked in your Materia Medica this morning and thought carbolic acid. Yes. Maybe a choice. I have to get some now for me. Yep. You bet. Folks, this is wonderful. You're very astute. I'm really proud of all of you. It makes my heart sing to know that we are getting this out to people, that you know what how to handle this. And that we're going to be fine. We're going to be just fine. It's going to be okay. We've got our medicines. We have our prayers. Lent starts Thursday. I'm cutting out any desserts. It's not that I have desserts very often, but when they're tempting and somebody comes over or we're out and there's a dessert sitting in front of me, I don't refuse it. I always have some. So starting Thursday, no desserts for me. And so with that, my friends, love you all. Mwah. Great night. See you next week. Bye.